Each week, Val and Amber make royal predictions and track breaking news headlines. August 30th, a prediction for September and October.
This is interesting. I see a wind event, something with wind. First card, if you look, see the mountain with that enormous swirling cloud above it?
September 26th, tornadoes and hurricanes on 2 continents.
Is someone in the royal family pregnant?
Yeah, that could be a big yes. Temperance.
Yeah, maybe one of Fergie's daughters.
4 days later, Buckingham Palace announces a princess is expecting.
Welcome to Royal Revelations. It's Friday, October 18th, 2024. I'm astrologer Val Evans, and thanks for joining me and Amber with Taurus Moon Tarot today, live or on replay. Today, we will be discussing predictions about how to see what an older sibling is up to, if someone is stealing from you, another shock coming up this week with a famous woman, and who is telling who to get out. If you're just joining me for the first time, this show is all about how to make predictions in your own life using your astrology charts. We use ancient forecasting methods and are amazed from week to week how these methods work. For ad-free content, click the join button and get our predictions with no interruptions. A special thanks to the valedictorians, the members who make this content possible. We are live every Friday at 4:30 Eastern, 9:30 p.m. BST British time. What's up, Amber?
Hi. Afternoon.
Can you believe the predictions that came in this week? Just unbelievable.
Terrible. Yeah.
We saw in the cards, in the charts, and of course, the chat always helps us as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
shifting gears here, you're drinking tea. I'm drinking. Cheers to a new week next week,
Yes.
starting on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Should we discuss this for a minute?
I have burning questions, certainly for the chat, because there's so many on here. I was making my tea and I drink berries. I've mentioned that before. I love berries tea. And as I made the tea, I had this burning question. If you drink tea, do your milk and sugar first and pour the tea on top? Or do you add tea and sugar after your tea? Milk and sugar after the tea.
I mean, it's a cultural war that has been started about this over the
Yes.
years, I think.
Yes.
And I think the official, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the official stance is that you use a small teaspoon and you put the milk and sugar in after.
I need to see the strength of my tea before I add my milk. I have to ensure it's steeped properly.
And if anyone wants to find you on YouTube, you're also on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm going to put your information in the description box. But for YouTube, it's at Taurus Moon Tarot 761. You want to talk about, a card for the show?
The card for the show, cards, I should say. Interestingly, as I waited, I pulled one more card, and you mentioned something in your introduction that I went, oh, that is not what I expected her to say. I had the Seven of Swords come out a couple of times around the Ace of Pentacles, and I thought this is some kind of money. There's like a lie or theft, thievery, and I thought, I wonder if that will come up. So I'll be curious in the charts you have. But for my pre-spread that I did this morning, the Ace of Wands, it's big. It's a lot. Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Leo card in reverse. And my first thought, and then I clarified it, and it's the Ace of Swords. There's something with swords. There's something with talking. This actually made me think of, there's something around censorship or silencing or sneakiness. It's something with, I can't quite put it together, but I'll wait and see what the charts show us.
Yes, I think you're on to something. So, okay, so I think what we're going to do is start with predictions first. Let's take a look. This looks big. We are looking at Uranus conjunct moon. So this is something very famous. This
Yes.
is something on the internet. This is something famous about someone losing their head because is at 26 degrees of algol, showing someone loses their head. So this could still be carryover from this week about the findings and
Yeah.
everything about One Direction. And interesting how Venus moves from Scorpio to Sagittarius. So this could be different energy. This is a foreign woman or an American woman, um, both if you live in the UK.
Yeah.
And this could be a famous shock that has to do with a female. Now, the female could be in college. Sagittarius is college.
Mhm.
It could be, I mean, unfortunately, Uranus tends to be suicide. And so there's that. What do you think?
I just got the chills. When you said that, I had the chills because the two astrological cards that I pulled, Taurus and Aquarius. So Uranus in Taurus. And this image of this dark-haired woman and this sort of famous looking, I was just thinking and ruminating on these cards as you were talking. And this made me think of Amy Winehouse, right as you said, suicide, like young woman, gone too soon, early end of life. And anyway, it just gave me the chills the second you said that and I saw
Amazing.
that image.
Wow.
And with Uranus in Taurus.
And just so everybody isn't confused, this is actually going to be for the 20th, not the 29th. It was an old recording, so I apologize.
Yeah.
So, not to get everybody confused, we're going to start this chart off on Sunday. Now, that is unbelievable. And, Taurus is the neck. So, it's the neck, it's the head.
Yeah.
And so, again, the cards. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Now, this definitely is a famous woman. You can't really see that Venus there, but there it is. And let me go back for a second. Here's another thing. What we tend to do is we look at the rising sign, and the sun is here. Now, in Libra, we are looking at a couple.
Mm.
Libra is a couple. Libra is a contract. It's a married, it seems like it could be a married man because the sun is a male sometimes. And keep in mind that King Charles, the sun is, we're talking about Leo stuff here. So for Sunday would be the first house, Monday would be the second house, Tuesday, uh, would be the third house. So Sunday and Monday, we're looking at the sun energy and look at how it's in this T square, which would represent a big, big challenge. When you have the sun squaring Pluto, number one, that is a power struggle. And then on top of it, you've got this Mars here, which is jealousy, it's anger, it could be violence.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of things going on right now. First of all, what is going on is the fact that I think a monarch might have some trouble Sunday and Monday with
Yeah.
something. There might be some fights. There could be people holding signs, something like that. But we've got this person. Here's what you would look for in your own chart. We've got a lifeline here to Jupiter. And it's a good luck group. Jupiter's good luck. We've got pins here. They're reaching out. And this is also social media. So whoever is having trouble here is getting a little help from a friend, social media, something like that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there for Sunday and Monday. What do you think could culminate during those days?
Well, I'm going to pull a couple more cards. The two that I pulled to clarify what we were talking about a moment ago with this famous woman, it actually feels like maybe it's a shocking announcement of a very famous divorce. And like the man is leaving the woman or the man is running away. Literally, I have this Knight of Swords, which is like, get out, get away, kicked out. And then the Emperor with that feminine card and the Taurus and the Venus, it's like he's not in his best place and he's out. But I want to clarify it now that you've asked the right specific question, very specific. Interesting. High Priestess in reverse. This is, I feel like, something that will be out of the blue, nowhere. Someone that's, it could be a couple that's been married for a very long time. Or an announcement of an affair, like another person that would just be super shocking.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I think that you're right about that. This is going to be tough, Sunday and Monday, most definitely, especially with that Libra there. Libra's balance, and in a T-square, you're not getting balance. But I thought it was so interesting how when you were talking last week, you were saying about the clue, which would eventually be One Direction and Liam Payne. You said
The left turn.
the left turn, and you also said the falling star.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so interesting that you did that. And sometimes, like, I wouldn't consider myself clairvoyant like you are, but sometimes when we're talking, these words come out of my mouth that I have never said before. And as an example, when we were doing the one on Prince Harry and the evil friend or somebody who does something dirty to Prince Harry, I said, his foot is still in the game. And
Yeah.
and it would eventually we would be talking about David Beckham, and I have never said those words. It
No.
was just like a completely made up
Yeah. Yeah.
phrase. So I thought how interesting that is sometimes that happens.
Yes. And, normally I might have said a change in direction when it comes to the judgment card, which would have
Uh-huh.
been crazy, but I used a strange left turn. I don't usually say
Yes.
that either,
So
but
funny. I know that was chilling, Angel. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about that, Sandra, that there we saw something that was
Yeah.
changing. And Uranus can mean divorce, but it can also mean a move, and
Yeah.
that ended up being what it was. They
Yeah.
moved, or they are
Yeah.
going to move.
Yeah.
We also got February, so I wonder if they're gonna be moving to Portugal, or they're gonna be doing some things
Fine.
with. Yeah, by
Really.
February, it'll take a few months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Rima, you think, William and Kate are in big trouble. It is they have Saturn going over their ninth house, I believe, of their wedding chart, and this is a coldness where you feel kinda lonely, the other person doesn't really understand what you're going through, and all of these things are in place where everybody's stressed, and so it would not surprise me if there is some,
Mhm.
maybe some upsets there. But what was so weird was when we talked about Prince William and that photo that Princess Catherine posted of everybody jumping, which is
Yes.
Uranus. So
Yes.
Uranus is such a big theme.
Yeah.
So, Angel, I know she, yeah, Angel says, I'm still waiting to see Val's slip of the tongue and the Koberger case will come to pass. You accidentally said freed. I know that scares me. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. So let's go back to this chart just so that I can look at it one more time before we
Yeah.
move on. And so that T square for this week is in play. And this would be like somebody married.
Mhm.
And but Mars in Cancer, and I
Yeah.
said this last week, it tends to be somebody who's leaving an abusive or can't leave an abusive. This is sort of like, I can't leave this abusive relationship,
Yeah.
but so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to social media and they're gonna help me somehow, or, maybe it doesn't
Yeah.
exactly sound like that, but social media is somehow it's almost like a Britney,
Yeah.
where they're stuck and social media rescues.
I cannot believe you just said Britney. You mean Britney Spears?
Yes.
I
Yes.
was going to say something about Britney Spears when I had this original card, and I said it's something shocking like when Britney shaved her head, because this image of this woman in the card has a shaved head. I almost said Britney Spears.
Oh my god, I believe you. I'm getting chills right now. So,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a person. I'm gonna say somebody in chains, kind of like just kind of weighed down by that Pluto. And this is the reason I say abusive is not just Mars in
Yeah.
Cancer, but it's opposing Pluto. And Pluto is it is so difficult. Now, of course, it could have something to do with, Diddy still,
Yeah.
and, more people are coming out because that's gonna be, the gift that keeps on giving for the press.
Yeah.
But, uh, yeah, so
But
this
that
is
Pluto is like a power and control, so not
I know,
yeah,
I know.
adding to that.
And
Mhm.
so what we would want to do sometimes we're like, "Okay, so who are these people?" Because planets are people often. And so we've got a few people in play here.
Mhm.
Now we could look at Mars, and Mars is ruling the MC. So maybe somebody
Mm,
with a big career, maybe somebody behind the scenes. This could be Simon Cowell, a Simon Cowell type,
mm,
where the sort of the wizard,
yeah,
and suddenly they are just completely blocked, and this is something where they get a lot of fame from this,
yeah,
and maybe some truth comes out, I don't know, but, let's see, then Pluto here would be another person, and this represents the 5th house, so now Pluto could represent the monarchy as well, and the
yeah,
5th house would be the family. So this could still be the same energy with the royal family and how they're like, "Get us out of here."
mhm.
We love Sydney, but we gotta go, that kind of thing. I'm not sure. Did we talk at all about King Charles and what you think he's gonna be up to in the next few days?
I don't know that we did, but, we can look. Is
Yeah.
that the chart that you would see for that? I guess you're looking at Tuesday or Monday?
I am looking at, Sunday and Monday.
Sunday,
Sunday's the 1st house, the
right.
2nd house is Monday. So, yeah, Sunday and Monday are both ruled
Yeah,
by royalty in a sense, but
right.
especially Monday, because the 2nd house cusp is right by Regulus, which is the king degree.
Yeah, I do wanna look at that. Ah, well, he's traveling around the world. There's the world card. Um, but I have the Hanged Man coming in with that. Gosh, such big cards. King of Wands, confirmation. I do wonder, I don't know if Sunday and Monday is a day where he will not speak or will not be in the public on those 2 days. It sort of appears like there's a pause or um, maybe a change in agenda on Monday. And rather than speaking, it could have to do with the cards I originally pulled because this Leo card, the strength card, is typically the Regulus. And it's like I said, maybe they're just not talking. There's some kind of
Okay.
pause with the Hanged Man. Maybe
Yeah.
he's going to take a day off.
Take a day off. 11th house would be friendship, so maybe
Yeah.
we'll see the king hanging out with some friends who look like each other because that would be Gemini, they're the twins.
Mhm.
Or maybe, the same twinning engagements. He goes to,
Yeah.
this museum, and then he goes to that museum or whatever.
Yeah. And I have two kings. So when you said that, I was like, oh, here he is with another person.
Whoa. So, like, twin
Twin.
kings,
Yeah.
twin amazing,
Yeah.
okay. We'll have to see if that works out, Sunday or Monday,
Mhm.
and now I am gonna go back to this, and we're gonna move on unless I see something else. I mean, I do see Black Moon Lilith here, and it is in the 3rd house. This is something coming in. Oh, we didn't really talk about the hurricane. Is there, like, some kind of weather coming in through the
There
UK? I mean, that's
what?
nuts.
Yeah, I
And
know.
we saw it on last week's chart.
Well, yeah, yeah. And here it is rolling in.
Yeah, it's rolling in. We hope it's not gonna end up being a hurricane, but I read, what was it, 80 miles per hour winds or
Oh,
something,
yeah.
and we could see that in last week's chart, so you have to catch that show if you haven't already. But this is, this Black Moon Lilith here in the 3rd house. It'll be interesting to see who that is, and that's gonna be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, for this is the UK chart,
Mm,
so this could be somebody who, let's see, again, that's the musician. It's yet another musician. So, I keep asking you for cards, but I want to know about this. Is there another musician?
Yeah. I do want to mention too, because that last final card just sort of jumped at me with the King of Cups for King Charles, Sunday, Monday. We might see him out on the water on those 2 days. That could be where he is. Okay, so let's.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch. We'll have to watch.
It's healing.
Okay. Yeah. Ace of Wands. That's like rock star kind of energy. But it is actually, it feels like a woman still, someone that's a woman. This actually gives me the vibe. Oh, that Eight of Swords, that came out earlier. And when you said someone stuck, it made me think of that. But with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse and the Ace of these things, it's like someone quits. Someone quits work, quits their, it reminds me of the moment that we talked about a couple months ago with Adele, that sort of shocking announcement of like, I'm out and you're not going to see me for a long time. Someone's out.
It makes me think that maybe there's somebody who's really going to be doing some hard thinking about the music industry with everything that's been happening with, the news with One Direction. And it's just going to make them do something. Black Moon Lilith isn't so good though. So that they could be doing something that's not so good, or somebody who is a bad guy leaves because South Node is leaving. But it's also despair too. It's despair in the record industry. And we're seeing that with South Node and Libra representing the music industry and bands and singers.
Yeah.
So we want that South Node to move along there.
Yeah.
I know Angel D, I'm not even going to put that up. That we don't want anything to happen to any, rock star that we like, especially Harry Styles. Now, let me just get to some of these here. K1W1 Chrissy says, King Charles should have come to New Zealand. We wouldn't have treated him like that, but they canceled our royal tour. That's true. Angel, you said if Beyonce gets a shocking haircut, I'm going to be like, oh my God. Kim, you say no sugar, no milk in your tea. That is hardcore. I don't know if I could do that. Angel, I'm sorry you had to deal with the rain and the thunderstorms.
Yeah.
You think Simon Cowell. Okay. Hey, Jody, glad you could join us. Those are the two houses we were looking at for Sunday and Monday. And then the sun, of course, the sun is ruling Leo. So that would give us a clue as to where to look. It's interesting too. The sun is in the fourth house. So the fourth house can sometimes mean something's happening in the home. We're talking about the home. But at the same time, it could also give us a clue about the day too. So we could still say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is the apex of that T-square. This is when it really, everybody sees it. It's turmoil. So that would be Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. So we'll see. I was looking at Prince Andrew's solar return, and he's a Pisces. So a lot of people who were born around Andrew they're going to see this little cluster, and it's not going to be very easy. This is a cluster of Venus, Mars, and Pluto in Aquarius. And when it's in a square, which it is for him, it shows a few things. First of all, being stuck, being maybe told to move with Aquarius moving, and he can't. There could also be feelings of intense jealousy and anger because of Mars and Pluto together. And so it doesn't show that for all of his year, but just for certain months, particularly. We've been saying February.
Right.
There is some serious stuff happening with this family in February.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Jupiter rising for his solar return year, February. And so you would look to Jupiter to get a clue here. And that's in the fourth house. And this is as tough as it gets with this T-square here. Maybe more women coming after him. The reason I put up this chart is because the title of this show is Get Out. And this is the other thing I wanted to mention. Notice the card that I pulled with the woman going down the mountain, 10 of Wands.
Yeah.
And I pulled it for that, and I was like, we did a moving show.
Right.
Like, why should we do another one, right? You know, it was like, this is the one you're going to want to talk about. So that, I think, would indicate moving, but not. Is it moving or is it not?
Yeah.
So could you give us a card that would reflect what this is? But it won't be forever. It's going to be a few months of difficulty.
Yeah. Let's see. Specific to Andrew. Yeah, and that card is very specific in its imagery too, like you saw with the bags and people with their horse and carriage leaving town. Let's see what it is for him. Oof. Judgment in reverse.
Whoa. Is that like court?
It's like, and 7 of Wands in reverse. This is the word that pops out is stubborn. It is heels dug in, absolute refusal to change direction or do anything different. This is, I am rooted in my position and I am not moving. That's, I mean, it's exactly that T-square, right? There is a not moving, refusal to. So let's see. Yeah, that, the Sun card in reverse, not happy at all. It's like, I feel like a dark cloud hanging around. The Knight of Wands in reverse. This is, again, not being able to move. Could also be falling off a horse, which we have seen before.
Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. I was going to talk about the horse, and you totally reminded me. Yes, let's talk about the horse. Yeah, Jupiter is ruling Sag, and that's a horse. This is, he should not be on a horse. And I've said that before, that the royals should avoid horses, you know, depending on the month.
Yes.
This is a horse. I was going to say that for, I think it was this chart because of that Sag. And, you know, you've got Uranus kind of, you know, Uranus's accidents. He just has to be careful.
Well, this is also the Sun card is the baby riding on a horse upside down. Can you see this?
That's amazing. That's crazy. Okay. So be careful with the horse, Prince Andrew. Here's another thing I wanted to cover. If you're looking at your solar return chart, you can look at what your older brother is up to. So you go to the 11th house, which is an older sibling.
Okay.
And the ruler of the 11th house for Prince Andrew for this year is Pluto. There he is right there. And they are, you can see that Jupiter is him, and this is King Charles.
Yes.
And let me tell you what, King Charles has a lot of people there that want to break this lease and really break him. The first house is him, his profile. They just want, it looks like destroy. Is there something here? This is revenge. 11th house, right in Scorpio. This is something like, you know what? You won't move. Well, guess what? We're going to put some things out on the internet, which would be Aquarius. Could that be something that they might do?
You know, I had the first house card as well, and it is about self-image, right? And I'm like, maybe they try to sort of bring that forward about his self-image or damage the self-image. And it's a group of people doing it. And
what?
Yeah, I asked, like, what can he do about it? We might see the redheaded lady that he resides with stand up for him or speak on his behalf in a positive way surrounding this sort of negative gossip. This is gossipy, you know, standing around the water cooler, having a chin wag about his image. Oh, yes. Like, put a pin in him and let's just bury him, you know, in the press.
Whoa. I mean, it could be dangerous. Like, Pluto's murder.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, when we're talking Scorpio, we're talking we could get really, really serious about scorpionic types of stuff. And death reversed. Now, if you have the death card reversed, does that mean not wanting to change?
I mean, it depends on the question that we're asking, right?
Mhm.
So in this instance, again, it's someone upside down on a horse, but I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about it's stagnation. It's lack of, sort of changing your image. It's being rooted in the same place that you've always been and unable to, peel the layers back and start anew. Makes me think of like, mold growing or something
Ooh.
that you just can't, shake off. And it could be that image. And it might be someone else bringing him to court with the justice card coming out too.
Yes, court. I mean, he's like, "Look, I've got a lease. It's signed by the queen herself or
Yeah,
whoever,
yeah,
and, I'm protected. As long as I have this, I'm protected. I don't care who you are."
yeah,
And I feel like that's happening,
yeah.
and, you wonder what King Charles's motivation is. I mean, surely he has other castles and palaces.
Mm,
Why does he need that one? And is it
yeah,
just basically for, revenge, which would be Pluto? But,
yeah.
I wonder if psychologically he kind of blames Prince Andrew for maybe bruises on his reign, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yet King Charles should probably feel a little bit more empathy because he's gone through the same ringer that
Yeah,
not exactly, but he's had some scandals himself, so
yeah. And I have both Pluto and Scorpio. I have the Tower card in reverse as well, which is this sort of same imagery of things just not being built, transformed, changed.
yep. And again, that being February is 1 month that
Mm,
could manifest, and
yeah,
it looks like a big accident to me, or something where it's an explosion of some sort. It's
mhm,
just like, what can we do? It's just everybody's stuck. Now, on the other hand, too, it could just show that King Charles is stuck, because of his
yeah,
situation in his life, and everybody else is kind of in limbo with him. We're going to go to Princess Kate's soul return chart for a second, and okay, just to explain to everyone, this is her 10th house. So, of course, we would see her doing a little bit more when it comes to her career and,
yeah,
her passionate projects and all of that stuff. And so we are moving from the moon to the sun. The
yeah,
sun is now ruling her 10th house.
yeah.
So we went from here, which seemed like it was a little bit difficult,
Mm,
to the sun. And the sun is in this T square here.
wow,
And it looks difficult. It looks like something is making her angry. It looks like she does not want to play by the rules here. The rules are Capricorn. Now, normally she is a Capricorn, so she would feel okay with it. But
yeah,
there's a rule that she's stuck in that she
mm,
really feels bound with. It could be the government. The government is holding her back,
mm,
and until November, I mean, it's still a few days. So, I mean, it's only like, you know, 10 days or so, but there's something where she can't move. She's just
mm.
stuck. And it might have to do with rules.
Wow. Um, I just love that I got the Capricorn card in reverse. So stuck, Queen of Pentacles. Um, I actually wonder if she is going to have, well, the moon in reverse came out, and the first thought I had was some kind of additional healing, or it's like something behind the scenes is going on that we might end up knowing about in the coming month. um yeah, next, maybe by the next full moon, because
Okay.
today is the full moon right now, which made me think, what, I don't know what the next full moon is around her health with that moon.
Okay.
Ah, we may hear an announcement that she will make the statement about her struggle with being cancer free, remission, some like really good news that sort of
Okay.
solidifies something with the 6 of Wands. That's really positive news.
It's interesting that you say that.
And the sun,
The
vitality and
sun
health. Yeah.
and health
Yeah.
and confidence and happiness. Wow, we got some good news. I love good news, and the reason that I put Aquarius up here is because this is something that is a good surprise.
Yes.
So maybe there's a possibility that now Uranus is also radiation. It is,
Mm.
it's a technology guru, somebody reaching out to her, let's do something with this new project. And she's all excited about it. It is, it's an inheritance.
Mhm.
It's, Will's money,
Yeah.
access to Will's money,
Yeah.
but definitely shows some good news
Yeah.
and could be something, maybe she will want. Could it be that she wants to announce it, but
Yes. But
something is keeping her from doing it?
yes, she
Yeah.
is stuck to talk. She cannot talk. I mean, this is literally with blindfold and can't, say anything. But it did make me think that maybe she wants to be an advocate for that particular kind of cancer and be a speaker, engage in that community. And maybe there's some discussions about, no, that is, let's
Mhm.
keep that under wraps. And she wants to be an advocate and talk
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Now the transit is actually I think it was yesterday, so it's not in a T-square right now, but I am seeing something here that bothers me, and when you have Mercury conjunct Jupiter in Scorpio, this is a thief. This is somebody who's jealous, who wants something else, who wants somebody else's of something.
Yeah.
And there's Pluto here, which is taking. It
Mm.
is scorpionic. It is swiping something. Now, it's in her fourth house and it's in her sixth house. And I wonder if there's somebody that she has to be she's got to keep her eyes open. I wonder if it has to do with, first of all, somebody that wants to take something from her.
Mhm.
Second of all, there's going to be a lot of moving in the next 6 months.
Mm.
And what a great time for people to come in and swipe things, from the top
Yeah.
of the moving box. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, but is this something that we should be thinking about for them?
I had that exact thought earlier when I pulled that 7 of swords. I'm like, who's the thief? Who's stealing this? Who's stealing something?
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't expect it to be in her transitor, which is really interesting. Let's see what it
Mhm.
would be. There's that judgment card in reverse. Mm, 10 of cups. Oh, it could be jewelry. They won't get away with it. Can you see these?
Yes. Thank God they won't get away with
Yeah.
it. There you go. Still have remnants of the cold. If anybody caught this, and I'm going to put this in the next intro with some of the clues that we got, but there
Yeah.
was thieves with keys, and
Mhm.
just I think it was a week later, the London Museum was robbed, and it was by somebody inside who had keys. So I almost wonder if that's kind of like a theme here. Is there gonna be somebody else with keys?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Mercury represents a key. So, CR user, you said, "I think Capricorn is the only mythical creature in the zodiac." It's hard to believe. Um, Christine, you said being a Capricorn can be a challenge to say the least. Absolutely. A lot of people who have planets in Capricorn can suffer from depression at certain times in their life,
Yeah.
like much more so than the average person.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we saw that, and we just have to keep a lookout for her. All right, the UK solar. This is, we are talking about this period right now. Mercury is ruling for the UK solar return chart. This is the prediction for the year. And the 10th house starts the October 1st, and November 1st starts the 11th house. So we have a few days here in October where the planet changes from Mercury, which rules Virgo, to Libra, which is ruled by Venus.
Mhm.
So we already have the fact that you can see this T square here that happened.
Mhm.
This could be, a female. It's like a famous female, but that Black Moon Lilith is sort of like a devious female of some sort that is stopped. A famous one, it seems. Now, this could have something to do with the government, but then as we're getting into, this is going to be the last week of October. Venus, okay, sorry. Mercury was, let me go back. Mercury was here, and it was for most of October. And it was in this T square. Sorry, I got my T squares mixed up. But now we're talking about Venus, and that's going to be the last week of October. So this looks bad. This looks like a death of a famous female, but maybe one that could either have played like a villain, but this is like villain vibes to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, whoa, that Ace of Wands again. It could be a woman, fire sign kind of qualities. Like I said, the rock star thing, that's the same card from earlier, with darker skin in this
Okay.
image.
Yes.
Is that in the chart? I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Saturn, let me show you. You can see Saturn is at the hold on. You can see Saturn's here.
The
So
tower.
Saturn, Venus, and the moon with Black Moon Lilith. This is nefarious energy, but it is a woman, a famous woman, maybe dark hair, dark skin, that fails.
Yeah. This is sort of mirroring what you showed earlier with the Mars and Cancer thing, the divorce thing. I'm getting this very horrible, toxic, like tragedy of a couple. I just have I almost don't want to say it. I mean, I have the Lovers in reverse, and the imagery is very similar with the dark skin tone, and then I got the Tower also in reverse. It makes me think of just something not great.
I wonder if it is now. Usually, Sagittarius means somebody who looks younger. So it could be a woman that looks younger for her age. And I wonder if
isn't Sagittarius. This is so funny when you said that. I looked at the Gemini card, the Lovers card in this deck, and noticed that the feminine image has a tattoo. Isn't that the Sagittarius symbol?
it looks like it. Wow.
Her arm? Isn't that what that
Yes.
is?
Yeah. And well, I think it's a cross.
No, it's like a bow and arrow.
Oh, is it a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
God, I need to get my glasses on. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. It is.
So that's a big clue.
Yeah.
In a way, like, go ahead. What were we going to say?
Nothing.
Well, I was going to say, in a way, this is a good thing to somebody because they get taken down.
Yeah.
And, that would be an example of, if you saw something like that in your chart and it's not you, you're like, oh, thank God, we don't have to go through all of that drama anymore because they're going to take stage left.
And I got the Judgment card, which is the card I said that left turn. It's like Judgment is a complete and total change, life altering, a new direction, literally.
Amazing.
And this woman is like releasing herself,
Now, if you have a square with, as I've said before, astrology signs, it's going to be how they manifest the worst. So this woman, to build a profile, you could say that this woman is here. This is Sag. And it squares with the moon in Virgo. Now, this is a very critical woman. This is maybe somebody who comes out. She might be in show business because Sagittarius is the movies.
Yeah.
Could also be, in a college or something like this. But she's very negative because of Saturn opposing Moon. This is somebody who's really negative. So there's a possibility that somebody may be like a I mean, it is we're still talking Pisces stuff here too. So
Yeah.
they could there could be some kind of Piscean energy like
Mm.
alcohol and drugs, or simply that they disappear or they want to disappear, but they
Yeah.
are kind of being taken down for what they've said in the past, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So, yeah. So there she is. We'll see who that is. And that actually starts the last week of October.
Mhm.
So, let's say it's after October 20th. Interesting that 20 is the Scorpio degree.
Yeah.
So next next week is Scorpio themes, and so it's going to go all the way into December 1st.
Yeah.
So that'll be another month. Okay. I wanted to show you this. We were talking about this. You sent me this cover. This is
Yeah.
an old scandal. We'll
Oh,
call it Camilla Gate. We won't
yes.
say the other moniker.
No. No.
But this came out January 23rd, 1993 in this particular magazine, but it was all over the place. And it was a very embarrassing time when, we were in Princess Diana days. We were rooting for her and Prince Charles, who was a prince at the time, yet it just wasn't going to happen. And so it was a few years after this love tape, as they call it,
Yes.
was recorded, it now comes out in the media. And it was said, hard to believe this is true,
Yeah.
but the press waited a few years because they didn't want to cause harm to the royal marriage. Like, it's hard to believe.
It
But so here is the chart for that week, just like we're doing now for this week. And notice the 18 degrees of, the evil. Evil has taken over, and Libra is marriage. This is a married
wow.
Libra man or husband, which is Jupiter's husband. And so crazy that he would be in the 12th house, which is somebody who is doing something in secret. And he shouldn't be, because you can see the T square here.
Yes.
And there it is. So this is somebody doing that. And funny how Mars is in Cancer. So Mars is going retrograde starting in January to April, I believe. So, maybe not saying anything about them,
Yeah.
but this is kind of the stuff where something happens and you feel, not just you
Yeah.
maybe it's your spouse, but everybody feels beat up. They just feel like they're just bruised. And he particularly feels like that. But look at how much 18 is there, which is evil.
Yeah.
Then what's really interesting is to give this chart a profile is that Mercury is a call.
Ah,
Neptune is a secret call. Uranus is using technology to get the call.
yes.
And Mercury is um,
Eavesdrop.
in, it's eavesdrop. Yes, it's eavesdrop.
Yeah.
But you can also see Mercury also rules in this chart the ninth house of press. So this is the press. And look how it's sextiling the second house of money, how much money they made from that. So
Yeah.
that would be the winner from this chart, would be the press.
Mhm.
And they must have sold a lot of advertising. It's a real shame. Fourth house is what Prince Charles is in right now, and this is it's hard to do this.
Yeah.
Fourth, when you look at your perfections, the piece of the pie that is lit up shows the challenge, and
Mm.
these numbers show how old you were when
Mm.
you experienced that perfection year. And it always seems like, you want to focus on your career, but you got all this other family stuff that you got to focus on.
Yeah.
And so that would show where he would really like to do some things and, focus on his legacy with his career up here in the 10th. But
Right.
it would not be this year because he would have to focus on the fourth house, which also indicates that this is the year he's going to potentially move
Good.
or start thinking about how he was going to move and having a challenge. So that shows a challenge.
Hmm.
This is his solar return year, and this looks very, very difficult. You can see his brother here. The third house is in Aquarius.
Mm.
And the third house, being in Aquarius, shows that brother is moving, right?
Ah,
But it
that
is kind of here in the T-score. So if you look in your own chart, in your solar return chart, you can see when you might be changing your home or trying to kick your brother out.
yeah,
So we would look at Uranus, which rules the third house. This is going to represent Andrew and also the third house. And it looks like, I mean, they are just, it's in opposition to the sun here. Lots of jealousy, lots of betrayal here behind the scenes because it's the 12th house is
yeah,
behind the scenes. Yet there's something interesting that's happening here. These charts are just like, I mean, I might as well be looking at like Dallas with J.R. Ewing
yeah,
because of how, which I know is one of your favorite shows.
yes,
Um, but it's like there's something here, this is Neptune, that is connecting them in some way. I
mm,
think this could either be a picture that they take together, which is highly unlikely,
yes, yes.
but it could also be Neptune is also a spy. So
Mm,
is there going to be somebody that one of them is talking to that's giving them information when trying to figure out who's going to get out?
yeah. Let's see. Ah, this feels like someone is paid to put something out there. This is a paid endeavor. I think the word blackmail is too strong of a word,
Okay.
but it's like hiring someone to do the dirty work. Hmm. Oh, Seven of Swords. There it is. I knew it would come back. I knew it would come back. Um, yeah, this is like steal the information or, look in their day planner and find out where they'll be and we'll sneak around and do this thing. Um, that Seven of Swords feels like, middle of the night, we go and, pack the boxes and take it out the back door. Uh, I need one more card for this. Do you
Okay.
see that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see a camera too. Like somebody's got a camera aimed because that's Neptune, but it's not a very good camera because it's retrograde, you know?
Yeah. This is definitely someone sneaking behind the bushes kind of energy.
Whoa. That is crazy. Let me just see something. I wanted to look up what that chart was that I had. I think it was the progressions. Let me see 1 second. 2024. So
Hmm, one more for this. Mm.
2024. You know what? Oh my God, that chart that I showed. By the way, are you done? Did you want to
Yeah.
mention something?
Yeah.
Okay. That chart, that's not 2025. That's this year. We're still in that chart.
Oh.
So, we got to go back just real quick.
Yeah.
Um, let me just, that's why I got confused because it's like over 2 years. Um,
Mhm.
okay. So this is, this would be February, January, December, November. Oh my God. Okay, so this is coming up a lot sooner than I thought.
Right around the corner.
This is gonna be Pluto, this whole bamboozle here, maybe the first week in November, second week in November. And then what happens? Where is older brother?
Mm.
Older brother is Uranus. Look how there's a big red line here. This is not good. It shows that they're not getting along. Of course, Mercury is the rising sign for the chart, so that's going to represent Prince Andrew. Uranus is the lord of the 11th house of older brother, so that's going to be so you're
Mm.
going to be able to see if they get along or not Good Lord, no. Also interesting that his 5th house next year is ruled by the sun, which is his family. So this is a complete break of the family.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna say that, but the Uranus represents to break. It means a complete breakup. And also his daughter, Eugenie, she's now in Portugal. Maybe he's gonna go to Portugal. I don't know. Angel, you said King Charles isn't having the best time. Before we leave, can we give everyone some good news about this week? This is the chart. We got something good coming in, I think, on Tuesday. Tuesday is something about maybe real estate, maybe pharmaceuticals,
Mm,
could be something that has to do with domestic issues. Is there any good news?
let's see. On Tuesday. I'm going to take that. One more. Tuesday. Ah, yeah. This is interesting. They all look like crazy cards with this 3 of Swords in reverse, but this could actually be very restorative energy. And this is like families going out. Like we might start seeing things in the news, headlines of families doing things outside together. Or I even see a little bit of something to do with adoption, like something in the press about, a company that does adoption and they're showing how they're putting families together. It's very specific. Or something around, fertility, something that's helping people become families. I could see that too. Maybe it's funding around that. There's the money card.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah, if you look at this chart for the 20th, starting on Sunday, you can see, and this is coming on Tuesday. Why would it be Tuesday? Because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is ruled by Mercury. That's why we'd not only look at the 3rd house, but we'd look at Mercury as well. But Mercury is a little baby, and Scorpio is adoption. And trining Saturn might be kids that have been adopted for a long time or been waiting. Saturn is to wait for a long time to be adopted.
Yeah.
And just makes me feel so sad, but it's good news. It's almost like returning to the children. And also, it's so funny that you said, what was it about? Was it pregnancy or was it IVF or something like that?
Fertility and IVF and things like that. Yeah, like hope for there's something about people becoming families.
Yeah, Scorpio again. So that is crazy. So now, if you guys are interested in getting a reading, you can go to the description box. You can also go to my website and you can get Amber's information too in the description box. We're so glad that you could join us today and hope you can join us next Friday. Thank you so much for your clues, as always, Amber.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.